Jake here. Today we are talking about the horror film that came out this past weekend called Willy's Wonderland. I rented it on Amazon Prime for $20, but there's plenty of places that you can find it right now if you want to. First things first is Nic Cage. I feel like for a long time Nic Cage has been kind of known as kind of a weirdo, and I feel like recently he has really embraced that persona of his, and it's giving us a lot of fun and a lot of interesting movie choices. He had that movie Mandy, that was a horror film that he was in that was pretty great, and then this one, which is, I wouldn't say great, but definitely fun. With Five Nights at Freddy's being so popular, they have there's been plenty of rip-offs coming out the last few years, or things that are inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's. One I saw recently was the Banana Splits, where they turned to that old television show into a Five Nights at Freddy's type of thing, and that's kind of what this movie is too. The movie is Nic Cage being stuck overnight in this Chuck E. Cheese type place and fighting all these killer animatronics. This movie is much better than that Banana Splits film. The Banana Splits film, I was just kind of like, that was kind of just, I didn't hate that hour and a half, but I was just like, whatever. But this movie I had a lot of fun with. Nic Cage is kind of just this wanderer. He's like, you don't really know much about him. He's going through this small town and he ends up having car trouble, and he's picked up and taken to a garage. The garage does not take credit cards, does not take cards at all, and the ATM that they have does not work. So Nic Cage is pretty much, his character is broke, and he needs to take care of his car troubles. So he ends up striking a deal with the mechanic and some of the local townspeople, where he's going to spend the night in this Chuck E. Cheese type place called Willy's Wonderland, where he is going to pretty much clean up this place. The place has been closed for a long time, and he's going to clean up the place, and if he does what he's asked to do, then they will pay for his car repairs, and he'll be able to get out of there. First thing is, his character doesn't have a name. He's just credited as, he's called the Janitor, and that's the only name you really get for him. And that pretty much explains the character completely in itself. Like, you don't really know anything about this guy. But he's a pretty fun character, and it's which is weird to say since he doesn't say a single word in the movie. He doesn't talk at all. He doesn't say one thing, which is kind of weird because when I watched the trailer, I didn't catch that he never said anything. Because when I rewatched the movie, I was like, I swear that he said something in the trailer. And I went back and watched the trailer, and he didn't say anything, which is kind of strange. The movie is pretty much him, his night in Willy's Wonderland, where he's trying to clean up and he's trying to do his job and he's trying to just get out of there. The movie is primarily about him, but of course, this is a movie. This is a horror film. This is a slasher film. You gotta have some disposable bodies. So there's also a group of teenagers that come and they try to rescue him, and they all kind of know what's going on in this place. And it seems like the whole town pretty much knows what's going on with this place. And they go and they're gonna burn this place down, and they end up running into Nic Cage, who's there, and chaos just ensues from there. I like the design of all the animatronics. My favorite in particular is Siren Sarah. She was my favorite animatronic in the film, and it's crazy. Like, this is a fun movie to watch with Nic Cage fighting all these animatronics. He's pretty much covered in oil the whole movie, where it's kind of replaced with, instead of blood, where he's destroying these animatronics and he's just getting covered in oil over and over. And there's a few things about his character that I really love. First of all, he wears the whole time he's wearing this Willy's Wonderland shirt, because he is on the clock, he is working, so he has the uniform on. Every time something crazy happens and he fights one of these animatronics, he gets disgusting, he gets soaked in oil and all these things, and he just changes his shirt. He goes through 4 shirts in that movie. He keeps just changing his shirt. Every time that something happens, he just goes and gets a new shirt and just continues his work. Another thing about the Janitor is that he was told at the beginning by the guy that hired him to take breaks, and that taking a break was very important, and he takes that very seriously. He has an alarm set on his watch, and every time it goes off, he takes a break, no matter what's happening. If he's in the middle of a fight with one of these animatronics, no matter what kind of crazy things are happening, when his watch goes off, he takes a break. And what he does on his break every time is he has a soda and he plays his pinball machine. And he does that over and over. Every time his watch goes off, no matter what's happening, he bails out and he takes his break, and he plays his pinball machine and drinks his soda. And I was like, I understand this man. He definitely appreciates his breaks, and nothing's gonna stop him from taking them. one of the teenagers named Liv is played by Emily Tosta, and she has this weird connection with the janitor that like I can't really explain what's going on there. Like the first time they meet, they kind of just like, you can feel a connection between them and they kind of like lock eyes. And then the whole movie is like really those two kind of like being with each other. And I don't really want to ruin what happens in the end yet. Near the end of the video I'll go into spoilers, but I'll give you a warning before that. But I really like their dynamic. I really don't understand their connection or like really what that relationship was, but it's definitely an interesting connection that they had. This is the kind of movie that I want to see from Nicolas Cage, and I hope that we see more movies like this. He seems to really be like embracing these kind of weird movies lately, and I hope that he keeps doing that because this has been a really fun movie. This movie, as far as ratings go, I would give it the good kind of bad, which, let me explain what that rating is. That rating means that it's exactly the kind of movie I want to watch, but it's a movie that I would not suggest to most people. This movie is a lot of fun, and it's ridiculous, and it's kind of stupid, but it's absolutely the type of movie that I want to watch. It's my favorite type of movie. But like I said, this is not a movie I would suggest to most people because I think most people would watch this and be like, I don't really know why anybody could sit through this. I don't even know if most people would even sit through this movie. But I find it pretty amusing, and I've saw that the writer of the film has talked about how this movie gets enough love and it does well enough that they plan on making a sequel. And I really hope that it does because I would love to see more of these characters, or like the janitor, and I would like to see more of like the animatronics and where this story could go. One thing about this guy is the janitor is he kind of reminds me a little bit of like an Ash Williams type character from Evil Dead. He doesn't like. I would really like to see like a team up movie between those two because like this character is like he's super serious. He takes everything very serious and he doesn't say one thing. While Ash Williams from Evil Dead never shuts up and he doesn't take anything all that serious. So I think that like seeing these two characters fight some evil like they do in their own movies, and, like do it together, would be a lot of fun, and I would be super stoked to see something like that. I think that does it for the non-spoiler part of this video. So if you haven't seen this movie, go ahead and click off and go watch it and come back and watch the rest of this video. Or if you just don't care about spoilers, just keep watching, I guess. First of all, as I said, Siren Sarah was my favorite of the animatronics. And it's pretty exciting, like for a sequel. I'm hoping for a sequel because she is the animatronic that survives. So of course in the sequel she would be in it more. So I'm glad that out of all the animatronics she's the one that survived because I want to see more of her. The other ones, they were fun for the movie, but they could replace them with different animatronics next time, and that would be, completely alright. The backstory for this town and for for Willy's Wonderland is pretty stupid. It's just you find out that pretty much all the workers there were all kind of like serial killer weirdos, and when they get caught by the police, they commit suicide and they transfer their souls in a Chucky Child's Play type way into all these animatronics. And it just seemed kind of like when you watch the movie, like it seemed like the most stereotypical kind of like backstory that you could possibly have. But in a movie like this, it's so fun. It's like so goofy and fun that like it kind of just worked. Like I enjoyed the backstory and like it made me laugh. But it worked for a movie like this. Again, the character Liv and the janitor, they had this weird connection. I really don't understand what's going on with them. But yeah, they kind of just have this whole weird connection, and then they just kind of take off with each other, and that's kind of how the movie ends. As I said, I really enjoyed this movie. This is really the type of movie that I live for, but I think most people would not be that into this movie. But yeah, so let me know in the comment section how you felt about this movie and if you'd like to see a second one. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. And until next time.